Are you in a relationship and you feel like it's starting to burn out? You feel like you might need to break up with her? In this training, I'm going to explain to you exactly why, when, and how you should break up with your girlfriend. This will be the simplest explanation you're going to find anywhere on how to exit a relationship, not to leave anyone traumatized, and move on and continue growing. So there's three basic reasons why guys generally should break up with a girl. And if you're wondering, are your reasons correct? If you're feeling like breaking up with her or you're thinking about it, here are the three reasons why you should break up. I'm specifically talking about in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Reason number one is you can no longer grow with her. This is a big one. If you feel like you and her are on two separate paths and you're not able to grow as a person while she's growing with you, and you feel like she's staying kind of down here and you're growing up here, there's a good chance that you may want to break up with her. Number two is she will not grow with you. This is a bit different than the first one. So can't grow with her is basically you guys are on different paths. She won't grow with you means that as you're interacting with the world and as you're going through life, she refuses to step up to where you're at and she won't grow with you. When I broke up with my ex, this is now, I think 6 years ago, this was the reason. It was these two things. It was a combination of I couldn't grow being with her anymore. I wanted to travel more. I wanted to experience more in the world. And also she wasn't able to go with me. I had invited her to certain things, but her mindset was traveling or experiencing life or going through new experiences together is just going to be a bad thing. Not necessarily where she thought it was wrong, but it just wasn't for her. And that was totally okay. That's not what she wanted in her life. And she's doing okay in the same city that we were from back in Brooklyn. She's doing okay. And, she's set up a life there, but I didn't want that. I wanted to be all over the world. I wanted to see new things, travel, meet more girls, things like that. And I couldn't grow with her and she didn't want to grow with me. And then number three, the third principle, the third reason to break up is she's actively sabotaging your journey. This doesn't happen as often. It's not the biggest thing to watch out for, but it can happen. This basically means that she doesn't want you to actually grow and that she sees you growing and in some way it inhibits her and she feels bad about herself as a person. So she purposely sabotages your journey of growth so that you can't get to where you want to be. This is something to watch out for. Some women will actually do this. It's not commonplace. It's not the most common thing. It's not the biggest problem that you'll ever have to face, but some women do have this problem where they want to sabotage your journey and make it so that you can't actually grow. Now, when it comes to breaking up and ending a relationship, there's a mistake that a lot of men make. And this mistake is they leave the relationship from a reactionary decision. They don't leave the relationship logically. It's like, all right, fuck this girl, I'm out. And I've worked with so many guys, I've consulted for clients who made this mistake. They left the relationship emotionally. It wasn't out of logic. It was because emotionally they felt, yeah, this is not for me. And then they kind of quickly moved on. That's what we call a reactionary decision. And here's what it looks like. Leaving the relationship out of anger or emotion. And the reason you don't want to do that is because you're always going to end up taking her back. Trust me, every single time this happens, guys leave a relationship, they're angry, they're pissed off, and they say, yeah, fuck this chick, fuck this bitch. And then they end up back in the relationship because the reason they left wasn't logically sound. Now, again, there's some extreme cases where she cheats on you or something crazy like that. And out of reaction to her behavior, you have to leave. That's different. But I'm talking about a lot of guys who will leave a relationship out of anger because of certain behaviors or certain things she does or certain things that you do, certain fights you guys have that just piss you off and it goes too far over the edge. And then you say, screw this. I'm going to go meet girls and focus on myself and be on my purpose. And then the moment she pops back into your life and gives you what you wanted, you're back in there. Don't leave a relationship out of anger. You leave a relationship out of logic. And then another big mistake guys make when leaving relationships that's part of these reactionary decisions is trying to hurt her in the process. You don't want to do that either. The goal of leaving relationships is not to hurt women. You don't want to use exiting a relationship as a weapon to hurt her. That's not what you do. So here's how you actually break up. Here's the way that I found when I've dealt with clients that were in relationships that were leaving the relationship. Here's how I found you can leave a relationship that feels okay, that leaves her better than you found her. And that's the first rule. Leave her better. You don't want to use breaking up as an emotional weapon. Like I said earlier, when you break up with a girl, you want to make sure that she's going to be okay. I believe this is something you may disagree with me on, but I believe this. I think that as a man, you have a sacred responsibility, a sacred masculine responsibility to uphold and honor women. I genuinely believe that. I believe that us as men, we are the stewards of women's hearts. That's what I believe. And not in some simp shit, like where you're supposed to be buying her tons of flowers. And I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that when you have a woman that's invested in you and given her your heart, which is what oftentimes women in relationships do. If you found a moderately good girl who's not like toxic, if she has got some serious emotional stuff going on, then you probably just picked someone you shouldn't have picked. But generally in a relationship that goes well over a few months, a couple years, that woman trusts you, she's invested in you. So it's your responsibility to guard and hold her heart in the palm of your hand, as it were, with your masculine energy and her feminine. That's what I believe. Maybe some people would disagree and say, nah, bro, do you fuck these hoes? But that's what a lot of negativity is out there nowadays. I think that's unnecessary. I believe you have a responsibility to protect women as a man. That's what I believe. What you want to do is make sure you leave her better. So there's something that I teach called the sandwich method. Okay. And this is a way of delivering information that helps you not hurt her necessarily. Sometimes she will be hurt. You can't avoid that all the time, but lets you not just try to hurt her, but you leave amicably and leave her better than you found her. So what you do is you layer things. Here's the sandwich method. You start with a good, then not so good, and then a good. So an example, what this would look like is, hey, you're freaking amazing and you're one of the best women I've ever met, and I've really enjoyed the time with you. I've learned so many lessons with you. The problem is right now, just where I'm at in my life, I don't see me growing with you right now. And that's something that's very difficult for me, but I just don't see myself growing with you. And I think that if this had been, here's the second part, or the third part, the good now, right? First we'll start with the good, you're amazing, and not so good. I don't see this going forward. And now the good. If this was another time in the future, I think you and I would have been, like, we could go further, honestly. But as of right now, I don't see that happening. I feel like there's more growth I need to have on my own. And there's the good, but it's saying like, I think that we would have been good together in the future. So what you're doing is you're delivering information, but you're delivering it in a layer of good, not so good, and good. This way you don't put her down and say, you're not good enough for me, because this is one of the biggest things that women fear in a relationship, or that they feel at the end of a breakup, that I wasn't good enough for him. I wasn't good enough. And we feel this as men as well if we get broken up with, which happens more often than not, actually. But when you feel this feeling of I wasn't good enough for him as a woman, when women feel that, it can be so damaging and hurt her future relationships. But we want her to be able to find future relationships. We want her to be able to thrive. So assuming you want that, which you should, and if you don't, again, you probably picked a girl who mentally fucked you up, and then you fucked up by picking that girl. Learn dating skills so you don't pick girls like that in the future. But that's what you do. You leave her better than you found her, and you deliver information with this good, not so good, and good model, so that she's not going to feel good. She's not going to feel great, but she'll survive. She'll be okay. You're not damaging her in the process. And then number 3, the final part of this is go no contact. This is by far the biggest mistake guys make. You don't go no contact. You say, okay, we'll just be friends. I'm going to see her on my phone. And then 6 months later, we're going to get a coffee, because maybe you went out and tried meeting girls and it didn't work the way you wanted. You don't have tons of good options, or you want to have closure with your ex. You want to close the loop. You tell yourself, close the loop, and you go get a coffee. You guys reconnect. We'll just be friends. Then you go for drinks, and then boom, you're back in this path where you're fuck buddies, but really in love and in a relationship. And then you sabotage another year of your life. So go no contact. I'm not going to say block her. That's not what I believe in. I mean, I think some men need to do that. I have clients that I give this exercise to. I say, block the girl. Some clients I don't think need that, but it really depends on where you're at and the level of self-control you have. For me, I can share from my experience, and part of it is I'm biased because I was a dating consultant. I was coaching at the time. So I was meeting tons of girls when I broke up with my girl. And I literally had 3-4 girls like lined up that were super attractive, cool girls that I was already talking to and already meeting at the time. So I'm a bit biased. A lot of guys, you may have experienced this, you'll break up with a girl, and then what will happen is you'll have no options. So what you want to do when you have no contact is quickly go get options, because when you go get options, that gives you freedom to choose and to think. But that's what I did. I broke up with her and I just never talked to her again. I mean, she messaged me once asking to hook up and meet, and I was like, nah, I'm going to be traveling Europe and meeting people there. I probably didn't need to say it like that, but I did. And that, I think, really hurt her. But anyways, I went no contact. So you should probably do the same. I strongly suggest for you as a man, if you're exiting a relationship, don't do this kind of little bit of a thread with a girl. It's just not good. It doesn't help you. It doesn't serve you. Hopefully this made sense. Hopefully you understand these concepts. Grow. If you're in a relationship and you're thinking about ending it, be strong. Follow this process. Follow this model. It's the best way to end a relationship without hurting her deeply and while still protecting her heart. Hope you're well. I'll see you on our next training. Check out all the links below if you want to work with me or sign up for one of our programs. Check the links below. Be blessed.